Go ahead, Dave. All right, we're live with the Broncos post-game report. It's Matthew Staffera with Rocky Mountain Sports Report. I got David Slade, Bruce Arians, doppelganger, and Kenny K from K&K Sports Show. How you guys feeling? I know we all have different views today, but
and I will say I'll start off because I got crow to eat. I picked Denver to lose this game. I said I didn't trust Vic Fangio, so and we'll get into a lot more, but it was a great game plan by Denver throughout the game.
Solid.
And I'll leave it at that for now.
Solid game plan from Denver today. There's so much good to talk about. Definitely. The one thing we want to highlight, though, there was a significant injury with Jerry Jeudy. It looks like what we're hearing is his ankle did not break or dislocate. It's going to be a high ankle sprain. So miss a few weeks. But the way it looked, I think we all held our breath for a second and we're like, oh, God. Thankfully, he's going to be
when
okay.
I first saw it, I said high ankle sprain. And then when they showed the replay again and showed that thing just bend over, I said that thing's broken. So I'm sure either Monday or Tuesday when the swelling goes down and stuff, they'll probably get an MRI just to make sure there's no ligament damage or anything else in there. So anything else going on, but
yeah, it looks like Facebook
6 to 8 weeks. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, go ahead, throw your name on that comment or click the link in the description, allowing us access to your profile so we know who's commenting and not throw your name in your next comment so we know who you are. It does look like we have stuff. One disgruntled non-Teddy believer. Give Teddy another glove instead of a helmet.
Victor, I know, Vic, I've been watching you guys' shows and commenting with Victor back and forth. He's still not believing in Teddy, but we're going to make him a Teddy believer. And for those who don't know, I am a Giants fan, but we were on the air today, pregame show. I totally forgot to mention the bet I was going to have with Kurt, my co-host. I told him I would wear Bronco colors if the Broncos won tonight, and they did. So here's my Bronco colors, navy blue and orange. Hats off to you guys in Denver and all of Colorado, all you Bronco fans. I think you got something to be excited for out there. And that's not, just because you won the first game. You won the first game on the road. You won the first game, outplayed us everywhere. And I think this momentum is going to carry into week 2 and even week 3. So hats off again, guys, and good luck. I think you guys are going to have a nice little surprise season over there.
And that was RMSR's Nigel Alexander, who is reporting 6 to 8 weeks for Jerry Jeudy injury. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on if they find any other damage in that ankle when they do an MRI. So, and I'm going to disagree 100% with Victor right here. Teddy was not boring today. I don't know what game Victor was watching, but Teddy was far from boring today. But let me tell you something, Kenny.
I need to catch the heat with this one after this, Dave.
Me and Matt have talked about this before. The lock cult is very strong in Denver. Some of it to the point where they would rather the Broncos lose just to prove that Drew Lock should be the guy instead of Teddy. But I definitely did not find Teddy boring at all today.
Definitely. Let's just go with the stat line really quick. 28 for 36, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no turnovers.
So what's boring about that?
That's one of the best games we've seen from a quarterback in several months. If he could do this consistently, then it's damn. I'll forget Drew Lock existed.
And as a Giants fan, guys, I see it continuing next week. You got look what Houston did to Jacksonville. Okay, and it's just going to carry into next week. You win 2 games on the road, you go 2-0. That's a hell of a start. I don't care what team you are. I don't care who you like, who you dislike. If you're 2-0 in your first 2 games on the road, and then you come back to big-time home field advantage in Denver, watch out. Watch out for Denver this year. As a Giants fan, I'm saying that.
Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry Murr, long time no see.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
Good to see you safe and back from fighting wildfires. So.
Yeah, it's been a long, hot summer out there.
Well, we thank you for your service in doing that. So we appreciate that. So
absolutely, it's a pleasure. I am so stoked about this game. I think we saw Matt was right in a lot of instances with Teddy B today. Attaboy.
That's what Matt's wanted all along, was us to bow down and say he was right.
Hey, I'm not an I told you so type. I'm not an I told you so type.
You were the only Bronco guy that was Team Teddy.
I still say Drew Lock will be there this year.
Because I was Team Teddy. I'm going to pat you on the back because you were Team Teddy the whole time.
Hey, guys, seriously, the offense, it was a little slow getting going, and I was all over Teddy and Shermer early in the game with seeing how slow the ball was getting to receivers. But, he was steady Teddy. And I think Shermer kind of got into a rhythm as the game wore on. And I think what we saw today was Fangio's plans executed really well. Not necessarily defensively, but offensively, I think we saw what Fangio's been looking for.
Yeah, and I think just to give Shermer his credit, because we've been bashing Shermer for months now, since like October of last year, I think, right, Dave?
Yeah.
This game plan that he came in with today was one of the best game plans we've seen him come in with. We were able to see a quarterback be able to get all three phases of the offense going. A lot of us were concerned with Teddy Bridgewater. Could he make the throws? Could he make the throws? And we were just talking a few minutes before we came on live. We seen one bad throw today, and it was on that route to Noah Fant. It was underthrown. But aside from that, the ball was clean, crisp, and on point majority of the game. I mean, he did, at one point before halftime, he had already hit 9 different receivers. That's phenomenal. He's spreading the ball around. He's making it a versatile offense, and that's something we need. Were they all long bombs? No, there was a lot of dinking and dunking, but it wore them down. I mean, the time of possession was completely flipped in the first half of the game. That defense was beaten down quickly. I mean, they played a grueling game on offense today.
Yeah. And honestly, the one thing that I saw is not once did I find myself being the Lock guy that I am saying, dang, I wish Drew Lock was in there. If only Drew Lock was in there, man, this game would be different. At no point during this game did Lock enter my mind, just because of the way Teddy was playing. Not only was he getting completions, I mean, geez, the guy got his helmet ripped off like 3 times. He's sliding, he's diving. He was all over the place today. He played perfectly to the game plan. Absolutely.
And I want to commend you, Dave. You said, we talked about this just a few minutes before as well, but you mentioned his pocket awareness. It was just phenomenal. He was staying in the pocket. He was only evading when he absolutely had to. It was just a solid performance. And if he can build on it, then maybe we found that Teddy of New Orleans. Maybe we get that Teddy that was on that 5-game.
Well, it's like you said before, Matt. Teddy's not old. Teddy can give you 4 to 5 years if he proves to be a salvageable quarterback, and if he can resurrect his career like it was at Minnesota, the year they went to the playoffs, how he played in New Orleans when they went 5-0. I mean, when you put a good team around Teddy's a good quarterback.
We have a starting quarterback from the exact same draft class in the AFC West, Mr. Carr. He plays for the Raiders. Mm-hmm. We don't think of him as old at all. At least not in my mind.
No, we don't. So we've talked. I mean, Kenny, we definitely want to get some Giants stuff. So you talked about some things that maybe the Giants could clean up on. You mentioned some, the Daniel Jones run. What are some things that you need to see from your New York Giants next week to hopefully they can clean up? What are some of the things they need to clean up?
Definitely need the better offensive line play. I mean, I think we made a mistake. All joking aside, I was like, Devontae Booker's going to have his revenge game. But it's Devontae Booker, guys. You got rid of him for a reason, in my opinion. Just like Royce Freeman. We blew it by not having a decent backup running back. Saquon was in. I just wanted him to stay in the game and be healthy, not get hurt today. Can't get mad at Saquon. 10 rushes, 26 yards. I'm not going to expect anything from him. What I am going to be upset about, and I was just like you guys were Team Lock. I was always backing up my quarterback, Daniel Jones. It's 3 years now. The guy still doesn't know how to protect the ball when he takes a hit. And we were in that game. It was only 17-7 when he fumbled that ball today. We could have been either
It definitely was a momentum shifter.
a good chance
that
at
was
being
the turning point in the
17-10 or
game.
17-14 at that time. We got a different ball game.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually nervous at that point. You know, the Giants were driving down. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. They're going to score, make it 17-14, and then does Denver fall apart offensively? Do we go conservative and you know, let New York take control of this game? But I think that turnover was the turning point in the game right there.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really big. Hey, Giants fans, take heart. That defensive front looks good, and I think that's something they can build off. Daniel Jones, while he may have had some missteps, some of those plays to Galladay and the other receiver, I'm sorry.
Shepard or Slayton?
Number 3.
Oh, the Shepard.
Sterling
Shepard.
Sterling Shepard. Yeah, I mean, there's with Jason Garrett, I really like Jason Garrett. I think the Giants still have a lot to prove, and I think they can. I really think this defense of the Broncos is going to be as good as advertised. They may not have been totally on the mark today, but Giants fans, what I saw out of Daniel Jones hitting Galladay, who is a beast, and Sterling Shepard, they've got some weapons. So get that offensive line short up, you'll be all right.
I do like it too, Jerry, but I just can't. You know, I know the fumbles are there. He's got to protect that ball. It's just so frustrating as a Giants fan. Anytime you see somebody on the blind side, you're like, oh my gosh, he's going to fumble. Well, that's it. You just see it coming, and it's just, it gets frustrating after a while when we're so close in games and we lose games because of those fumbles.
Yeah, and you never like fumbles. I mean, but I like that fumble more where he's trying to make a play than if he's standing back in the pocket, you know, and gets hit and loses the ball there. You know, I'm not going to fault my quarterback too much for trying to make a play. Maybe you tell him, hey, next time, just slide instead of trying to go ahead first, you know, and gain a couple extra more yards, you know. Other than that, I like the fact that the guy was trying to make a play.
The last thing I'll say, because it's the Broncos, and I don't want to, you know, take the time away from the Broncos. You guys deserve the talk today. I was not happy with our first round pick, Kendavius Toney, two receptions, -2 yards. Got to get him more involved. He's a playmaker. And then I do like, and I was ecstatic when we got Azeez Ujulari in the draft, and he had a sack today and a tackle for a loss as well. So. And what I'm seeing from him, I think he's going to be a good NFL pro, and I think he was a big-time steal. But I don't want to take away the Broncos talk. You guys deserve the talk today.
And Kenny, he had a play.
You guys having me on again for the post-game show.
And what was his name? The defensive guy you just mentioned.
Azeez Ujulari.
Yeah, he had a play too that, you know, that Denver would have been out on downs, and he hit Bridgewater in the head. You know, so some mental mistakes by the Giants, you know, cost them, you know, some opportunities, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess let's kind of focus, you know, we had so many positives today. I mean, can anyone point out any negatives? You know, and before I get to that, let me address this really quick. So we often, you know, Victor bashes my boy Josie Jewell a lot as well. You know, I'm a big Josie guy. But today he was the best coverage inside linebacker, believe it or not. I mean, the big play onto Slayton, it wasn't
he did.
Who blew the coverage. It was Alexander Johnson who decided to creep up, you know, 12 yards up to the line of scrimmage and completely leave an open zone for Sterling Shepard to you know, get that touchdown.
Well, and there was even another play where Josie Jewell, where Slayton had sort of run a little up, and he just sat down right there by the first down marker, and Josie Jewell actually dove and knocked the ball down to prevent the Giants from getting a first down. I think Josie Jewell played a good game, and I've been an anti-Josie Jewell guy as well when it comes to pass coverage. He's great in the run defense, but he struggles in pass coverage, and I think he did good today.
Yeah, I think he was one of the brighter spots. You know, I definitely want to highlight our edge rushers. They did fantastic today. I was so hyped about how well the offense is doing. I didn't even see, did Bradley Chubb even get any plays in today?
Bradley Chubb didn't play, I don't think.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
he
didn't see
did,
him.
right?
I think
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
a
out.
scratch.
I thought he
ruled
was
out.
too. I just couldn't even remember. I was too busy focusing on the quarterback.
Bringing Bradley Chubb up. I can't say enough about how much we missed Von Miller last year. That guy played out of his mind today. It was
No
great to
kidding.
see Von being Von.
Yeah. Yeah. And Vaughn proved that he could still do it without having, that dominant edge on the other side. I mean, he was
right.
playing with
Vaughn-
a rotation of guys.
Vaughn looked like 2015 Vaughn.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the speed, he had the burst. I mean, he looked good. He looked great today.
I will say I thought the defensive secondary, I expected them to look better than they did.
That's where I was going
I
to go
did
as
too.
well.
If you want to start looking at the negatives, that's the first one. But
Well,
I'll also give them a little time to gel too.
Pat Surtain sort of got lost on that long. Was
Yeah,
that the touchdown play
I think
where
he
he
was
got lost?
though. He was expecting Johnson underneath. I think he knew it, he trusted it because that's where Johnson was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
Now,
he lost
Let
his
me ask you
receiver,
guys a
too.
question. Would there be any concern in the secondary with the slot corner? Because I had a feeling all day Sterling Shepard was going to – all week I've been saying Sterling Shepard's going to have a game today, going to have a game. And that would have been the guy I would have keyed on. I mean, Galladay was coming back, but he didn't play at all in the preseason. Is there any concern that Sterling Shepard had a game like that? You got the Jaguars coming in you're going to Jacksonville who have a good offense. They have weapons over there. Is there any concerns?
Well, I think Bryce Callahan will step up a little bit, Kenny. Bryce hasn't had he's had a decent preseason, but he didn't have a lot of game time there towards the end of the season. So he's got a lot of rust to knock off. That's my take.
Yeah, and I think Darby, he was a little rusty as well today. This is a new system for him. I think he'll come around. I mean, he played.
Yeah, he played good
well.
though.
He played
good.
pretty well.
I think Fuller played good. I mean, I just think there was some miscommunications that caused some issues.
One of the things that I saw, and I picked it up on this after we talked this morning, and Mr. Slade was speaking. I saw some early blitzing. I saw some early stunting, but I also saw that go away. And I was kind of surprised that you said that the offensive line for the Giants needs to improve, because I saw times where Daniel Jones sat back there for 5 seconds and finally got that reception down to Shepard, down to Galladay, you know what I mean? 10, 15 yards down the field, and kept drives going sometimes too. So the one thing I'll say for your Giants is if you can take a couple of lumps, I don't know what your schedule looks like after Washington, but having the Broncos and having Washington as your first two defenses you guys need to face, that's brutal.
Yeah,
I agree.
Brutal.
We have the AFC West, obviously, and then our home schedule is very favorable. Like we have we go play Kansas City and Kansas City. Okay, give that game up anyway. So we have our winnable games at home. So losing today was painful, but hopefully we can come back. On short rest. Washington's in a little trouble. We'll see. They lost Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Giants' schedule, and they do have a brutal road schedule. They go to New Orleans, they go to Kansas City, they go to Tampa Bay. These guys, you hit her murderer's row. So and Philadelphia looked good today too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show you how we were talking about it, during the offseason, and about how bad Atlanta's defense is. Like that defense is.
That must be a
horrible.
bad defense.
It is. I mean, no one could cover anybody. It was just a field day. I mean, Deion Jones is only one player. I mean, he can't make it happen by himself.
Shout out to Victor. I believe Fuller looked really good today too, man.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
For all these guys coming in, not being a part of our defense or not having time to even come off an injury and work together before this season, there was a lot of guys with looking over and seeing new guys over their shoulder, and I think they played pretty well together. Fuller did well.
Yeah. I mean, there was one other player that kind of frustrated me, and that was Mike Purcell, because, I mean, he was doing great in run game, but it seemed like every passing down he was getting knocked over. I mean, your interior offensive line is, something to be proud of over there in New York. I think you got a solid foundation. You got a lot of youthful guys in there with Hernandez, Lemieux, or however you say his name. I mean, something to be. Hopefully, you guys can build on. I mean, tackles are your guys' issue in New York.
Oh yeah. I would actually, Matt, you're talking about the receivers and how well Bridgewater played. Guys haven't touched on your running game today.
Yeah, we didn't even bring up that yet.
You know, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. You know.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon broke 100
split the
yards.
carries, but look what they did.
I think Melvin Gordon was sort of sensing that Javonte Williams, when he was getting the ball, he looked so much faster. He was hitting the hole so much quicker, you know. Yeah. And then I think Melvin Gordon said, "No, not yet, young man. Let me just bust this long 70-yard touchdown run."
Yeah, please, let's not get carried away with Javonte. I know how good he is, and I'm so excited about him. But we've still got Melvin Gordon. Let's enjoy Melvin Gordon and ease Javonte into this thing so he's got plenty of juice when we really need him.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's two good running backs we have there that we can lean on.
Keep in mind, though, until a 70-yard run, that would have been Melvin Gordon 10 for 31 yards.
Yeah.
And Williams 14 for 45. So it wasn't a blow up off the chart running day. I wasn't actually that impressed. And it was certainly nice to seal the win and get a 70-yard touchdown and have the guys celebrating like that. It's always good to have a big, long touchdown for a celebration. Yeah. But other than that, I didn't feel too good about the running game, to be honest. So
the only thing I felt good about the running game, even though we weren't really producing, is Pat did not abandon it, because that was my concern. My concern was if Pat just says we can't run and we're just going to pass, and then I think we would have been in trouble. But I think he kept that Giants defense honest by, hey, we're going to at least try to run. So you guys got to do something to try to stop us. So I think that was a smart move by Pat.
Yeah, and I mean, it did seem like they were a pretty balanced attack today. I mean, 36 passes and then 28
runs. Yeah.
So I mean, I think the shocker is that Williams took the bulk of the carries. We were all thinking he'd get 30% today.
Right.
He took the charge.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was showing that he was quicker. He was quicker to the hole, and I think the coaches saw that, you know. But at the end, I mean, Melvin just broke that long run. But even without that 70-yard run, I mean, we still get almost a 100-yard day. We would have had 95 yards.
Yeah.
You know, so not a horrible day, but not a great day either, minus that 70-yard run.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why you keep running, because eventually you're going to break one.
Exactly.
You know, Matt was bringing up the negatives in thinking about the run game. I was a little disappointed in the run game from our offensive line perspective. I saw Graham Glasgow getting pushed around a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not sure who he was getting pushed around by, but I was not happy.
Williams.
Yeah, he looked like he needed a lot of help today, and I don't know what the deal was there, but our offensive line's got to play better than that to get that run game going.
And, Jerry, I don't know if you caught it or not, but this morning Kenny asked us who our breakout players were going to be this year, and mine was Lloyd Cushenberry. And so I sort of watched him today. I think Cushenberry had a good game compared to the way he played last year.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be nice to watch him grow, and I think that'll sort of give Reisner, where Reisner's not having to cover for Cushenberry, and Glasgow's not have to. But, I mean, I got concerns with Glasgow too, and is he starting just because of his paycheck?
Yeah, probably. That's a good point.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm not even gonna. That's 100% why he's starting.
I was a Glasgow fan.
We have Coach Arians is incognito. That's actually Coach Bruce Arians filling in for Dave Slade tonight.
Looks just like him.
So,
hey, I want to shout out to Kurt who chimed in. That's one, baby. Nice job, Kurt. Defense
and
does
Teddy,
win
we
championships.
trust, but he was going to give up on Teddy if the Giants lost today. So
hang tough,
call
Teddy.
him out on that as his co-host. I'm going to call him out on that.
And Drew Lock fans, hang tough. This is good for him as long as he doesn't let it get to his ego or his confidence, as Matt has indicated. That's certainly a possibility. But if Drew develops this patience that Teddy showed us today, and just the smoothness of execution, Drew Lock's going to be a beast when he gets his shot. I really believe it.
And unfortunately, it may not be here, Jerry.
I do not think it's here. 100%.
Well, and I think I'm
question
coming
off
to
the top of my head for the four of you guys, and whoever wants to take it, you guys can all take it if you want. If this Fitzpatrick injury is worse than it looks, we all said Cam Newton as a joke. Not really as a joke, but Ron Rivera's guy in Carolina.
Sure.
If a team likes Drew Lock, are you thinking about trading him with this performance by Teddy today? While you 100%. Can get something for Drew Lock.
Because we have Rippon we can pull up to be the second string guy.
I'm starting to firmly believe. I know this for sure. Drew Lock will not be in a Broncos uniform past this season. If the offer is right, if Washington calls up and says, we'll give you a 3rd-round pick for him, you damn well take it. It's not often you can come close to capitalizing on an original round for a player that's unfortunately hasn't either produced or they've regressed. So if you can get almost what you drafted him at, you got to take the deal while you can.
That's a good point, Matt. I don't agree with you still, but it is a good point, and it could happen that way. But I'll be shocked if Drew doesn't get a shot this year and proves that he's the guy.
But if Teddy's rolling, I mean, does it do the Broncos good to pull Teddy and put Drew in?
If Teddy's rolling, I think Matt could very well be right because, you take what you can get for him. But if you're going to expect Brett Rippon to back you up, I think that's way too big a reach.
That's what Brett Rippon's being groomed to be, though. Brett Rippon's is going to be like he's going to be essentially the next Kellen Moore, the next Luke McCown, Josh McCown. That's what they are. They're there just to be there.
Grant, I think it's all a timing thing. If it's to me, right? Because Washington wants Drew Lock now, and quite honestly, I would hate to be rolling, as we say. And be sitting there with a fantastic record, and heaven forbid, I got some wood right over here. Something happens to Bridgewater and Drew, and we had to go to Rippon. I think he has just as much value 8 weeks into the season if there's an injury as he does right now, and I would be willing to take that gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's more of a realistic possibility he'll be traded in the offseason or let go in the offseason than it happening right now. But I think it all depends on what the offer is. I mean, if Washington is going to be looking for a quarterback right now, it would make the value is going to be higher. There's only 8, like you said, there's 8 weeks to the trade deadline. So, I mean, I think we lay on it's a lower possibility that he's traded, but crazier things have happened.
That's kind of like saying let's trade Tim Patrick, beginning of the season. I'm sure glad we still have Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
yep.
definitely.
Yeah,
but
definitely being that way.
I do want to highlight real quick because I'm a Drew Lock flogger. Drew Lock could not have executed that game plan today. He couldn't have. It didn't play to any of his strengths. So if that's the direction that they're going to be flowing on, throwing him in and having to change everything probably has just as good of a probability as throwing off the flow than him not being here. Brett Rippon is a closer player to Teddy Bridgewater. I said it for weeks now.
But Brett Rippon can't throw the ball. I'm sorry. Brett Rippon is not a backup quarterback. He can play against 3s and 4s.
He doesn't have to play deep. I mean, and then when he came in he did hit Jerry Jeudy on that touchdown against New York last year, over 60 yards. He does have it. It's just not going to be utilized. Just like we're not going to utilize Teddy to throw the ball deep all the time. But short to intermediate, he can make those throws.
I agree with you on that perspective. However, as we've argued all summer and all offseason, to me, Drew Lock can learn this system, and watching Teddy execute it is what's going to help Drew more than anything has helped him in his 2 years, now 3 years as a Bronco. But with the market out there the way it is, you could be right. They might deal him. I think it'd be a huge mistake because I don't want to rely on Rippon when Teddy goes down to injury.
I don't think any of us want to, but it's all schematics. It's all situational football.
Especially depending on what Washington finds out tomorrow when Fitzpatrick goes in for his MRI on his hip. I mean, if it's something that's going to sideline him for half the season, then they're going to have to start looking for a quarterback. I just don't. What would you call him, Heineken? Kenny?
Yeah.
Heineken, yeah.
I just don't know if that guy. I don't think is a long-term solution. And either you go out and you get Cam because of the familiarity with Ron Rivera, or you start shopping around and trying to find another quarterback somewhere, and George may listen, if the offer is right, and especially if we can maybe get us another running back, because Nigel said he heard that it's being reported that Jerry Judy's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks. So now we need another wide receiver. So.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to come down to Tyree Cleveland or Seth Williams, whoever wants to step up and take it.
Right.
Almost wish you didn't trade what was the
Trinity
kid's name?
Benson now.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing. It's about the quarterback thing real quick. I look at it this way as not a Bronco fan. Want to assume Bridgewater's going to stay healthy, but if you can get a third or fourth round, it's a big if. If you can get a third or fourth round pick for Drew Lock, draft picks are very important, and maybe you guys go and sign Cam as your backup and get that third or fourth round pick and assume that Bridgewater's going to stay healthy and do what he's doing. After a couple games, if Washington's struggling with their quarterback situation and they want Drew Lock for a third round, I think I may do it. And then I come right back and sign Cam as my backup for an emergency spot. If Teddy was to go down for a couple games, you got a veteran backup at least still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not the guy I would want, but at least it's a veteran backup.
What do you call it?
The only issue I have with that, I think Cam's confidence is in a different place right now that I don't think we can bring on as a team and get him back up to where he's capable of. I think Cam is an off-season project at this point, personally. So,
I think every time that Cam would see Vaughn, his PTSD would kick in.
Absolutely.
Into the jitters.
And the other thing, going back to Washington, yes, he has familiarity with Ron Rivera, but it's not the same offensive coordinator, so it's not going to be the same system.
That is true.
So Cam's going to have to come in and learn something new. So, his experience didn't do him any good in New England, according to, whatever reports came out of there as to why he got cut, saying he wasn't understanding the playbook and was leaning on Mac Jones for help, which I think might be a bit of a reach, but
yeah,
you never know.
Matt Stafford just threw his first touchdown as a Ram.
Who'd he throw it to?
MVP this
Please
year.
tell me it's
Mark my
Woods.
words, MVP.
I couldn't tell who it was.
I don't know.
Because the wide
impressive,
receivers can win 98.
Van Jefferson, 67 yards.
Changing the subject for 5 seconds. How
Yes.
crazy is the NFL? Of course, what happened in Green Bay getting blown out, but the Houston Texans are in first place, and the Philadelphia Eagles are in first place after.
Well, so are the Denver Broncos.
Technically, we got
Technically, we're in first
but the
place,
Broncos
too.
are tied. The Broncos are tied with the Chiefs, but they're
That
all by
is true.
themselves.
And the
Texans
Chargers.
and the Eagles by themselves are in first place after week 1.
Okay. So I want to wrap it up real quick on one last thing. Let's go back to the Chicago game. It was our first drive. Justin Fields has already thrown a pass on their first drive. Play after Justin Fields throws his pass, they put Andy Dalton back in. He throws a pick. Does Justin Fields take over the next series?
Hey, I want to shout out to Victor real quick. He's chimed in about Bowles getting punched in the face a couple times today. He's right about that. And he also brought up Tyrod Taylor, who was somebody I wanted the Broncos to go after in the offseason, by the way.
Yeah.
But, tip of the hat there, Victor. Good job on those 2 calls.
But I will say this. Even though I think Bowles still played a solid game. Yeah, he didn't give up a lot of pressure. No, we never, again, did not hear number 72 holding. So, anytime I don't hear that, that's a victory right there.
Absolutely.
So,
All righty, guys.
I think, against that defensive front, you got Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, and they've been talking about Austin Johnson being quite good this year. So, I mean, yeah, we got punched around a little bit, but, we held our own all in all. I'll also say every sack that we took, I felt was a good sack too.
Yeah, agreed.
I can't think. Maybe there was one late sack that we took that was a bad one, but boy, I tell you what, it seemed like I just like Teddy's mindset in the game again.
I do too. He knows how to avoid pressure. He knows how to smartly get rid of the ball.
Yep.
And not just heave it down the field, which we've seen Drew Lock struggle with. So I think it was positive today.
Yep.
I agree. So I think a great way to round up, because I think we said 30 minutes. We're about 5 minutes over.
Oop.
I could talk for days. I know I can, but I got some more food waiting for me. After I already, the glutton is calling me. But maybe we just wrap up who our our star of the game is. I think a lot of us are probably gonna have the same person. I'll just start it off with Teddy Bridgewater. That's my star of the game.
Now that's an easy one.
You guys are gonna love Teddy Bridgewater over there. I've been saying it, for weeks and months. Two other quick things. I want to thank you guys for having me on. Pre-game show was great today, the crossover show, and always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And I'm gonna let Kurt have his fun on Wednesday's show, our K&K Sports show. If any of you guys want to come on for Bronco Mania, you guys are more than welcome. It's gonna be a fun little segment, I'm sure. So you guys got the open invite to join us. I'll reach out to you guys if you guys want to come on. We'll surprise Kurt.
All right, and I think I'm going to sort of second what Victor is saying. Vaughn is maybe 1B, as player of the game. I mean, he was disruptive today, And I said before the game he wouldn't get one sack. I really didn't think he was going to. I did not expect to see Vaughn look this good. And for him to go out there and get 2 sacks and have some other pressures and things like that, I think Vaughn did a great job on the defensive side to sort of keep Daniel Jones, off, sort of looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, I'm on the Vaughn train. I've been super critical of Vaughn, but today was a classic example of how much we missed him last season. So I thought he was great. Teddy was great. I think he shined above my expectations as well. So hats off to both of those guys. And I hear, Kenny, you were asking about our prediction for breakout player of the year.
Yeah, for the Broncos, yeah. A breakout
I'm sorry I missed that this morning. I'm all over Jonathan Cooper right now. That guy, when he gets his shot, he's something to watch, and I can't wait to see more of Jonathan Cooper.
Awesome.
Since Teddy and Vaughn's been well named, I'll click a little off topic. I'll go Tim Patrick. I thought after Judy went down and the catches that he made in order to keep drives going was key. It was star material, and thank goodness we have him.
Absolutely. All righty, guys. Well, it's been a blast.
Disappointment, really quick. Anybody got a disappointment of the game, Bronco player?
No.
Anybody want to throw Cortland Sutton out there?
I was just
I wanted to, but I felt bad.
Sutton, but you know what? We got lockdown corners, so I would give him a break.
Okay.
Bradbury on him a lot today, so that guy's one of the most underrated in my opinion. My opinion, I think he's a top 5 corner.
Is Victor calling Fant the disappointment?
Can we just not? Let's just pretend we didn't see that. Let's just click it off. It's gone.
I thought Victor was going to say Teddy Bridgewater was the disappointment.
Fant had 6 catches. He played well. He could have had a bomb of a touchdown on the one bad throw Teddy threw.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to pretend we didn't see that, Victor. We're going to let you just slide on by with that one. But mine would be Mike Purcell if we name one, just because I felt like he was ineffective in the passing game. And Daniel Jones ran right through his hole 3 times today.
Yeah.
Maybe the slot corner, Dave, who was on Shepard today. Maybe the slot corner.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot they were trying to use Josie Jewell in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I noticed. I mean, Josie Jewell seemed to be chasing Shepard around quite a bit, and I'm like, why are we trying to cover this guy with probably our worst pass coverage linebacker?
Yeah.
So, but hey, it all worked out in the end. So,
But yeah,
There you go. I love that comment from Victor right there.
Yes,
true
we're-
fan.
he's
right there.
coming around. He's coming around, Matt.
it's Teddy time, like Scott Cole says. It's Teddy time.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's been a pleasure, gents.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody, make sure
Thanks
4th
again,
and
guys,
99.
and, I'll reach out to you guys for Wednesday. I know you guys do your shows, but if
Okay.
you want to come out for a couple minutes before your show or after, we'll figure it out. Surprise
Okay.
Kirk.
Love
Awesome,
to.
Kenny. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. And on that note, join Matt, myself, J-Rock on Wednesday at 6:30 for 4th and 99. And I'm not sure if we'll have any other RMSR people, but maybe a whole group of us. So, but tune in 6:30 Mountain Time on Wednesday.
Sounds great.
And all
Go
I do is
Broncos.
go Broncos.
Yes, first place.
Yep.
Even if it's a tie.
First win in September, I'll take it.
That's
There
right.
you
That's got to be a load off Vic's mind, huh?
Oh yeah.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
So,
All
Breathing
right.
deeper than he has in quite some time.
and once again, I will eat crow because I did pick the Giants to win today. So
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah.
will.
Reverse psychology works a lot, Dave. I may have to start doing
yes.
that.
I was so close to the prediction. I had 31-13. I was so close.
Wow, you were close.
I was close,
So,
man.
Yeah, we were all when Matt threw that score out there. We're like, wow,
Yeah.
you know. But, hey, Matt
Hey.
almost nailed it.
But, yeah,
Matt, you might know what you're talking about.
Maybe, just maybe. We'll see. We'll see
So-
next
Who
week.
had 27-17? Somebody had 27-17. It might have been Kurt.
I think that might have been Kurt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
All
all
right.
to him.
It's all right, guys.
All right.
All right.
Thanks everybody.
Okay.
Have a good night,
See you
See you guys
everybody.
next
All right,
week.
good night.
Later this week.
Enjoy the week.
All right.
Enjoy
Bye.
the victory.
Yes, we will.